Hi guys, it's Clarice. Today I'm going to show you how to do carnations, and as you can see over here, I kind of used the same sheet that I used when I was practicing my poppies, but this is kind of the effect that we are going to be focusing on today. And also I'm going to show you actually two different ways because I felt this was a little too rigid. It's cute, I like it. But I also like this style, which is a little more free and loose and less angular as opposed to these, which are like straight looking lines. So I'm going to show you these two methods of doing it. And for that, we're going to use a new kind of brush that I've never used in my tutorials before. It's called the Pincel Angular, and as you can see, this was like a cheap brush that I purchased, and so the covering is like cracking, and literally all I can see is 22A wave water media. So I'm not quite sure if it is 22A or if there's something else in front of it, so unfortunately I cannot help you much there. But as you can see, this is what it looks like. So it's just flat, straight, and then it has like a little bit of a slant of a cut. And then we're also going to be using my number 8 silver black velvet, and I'm using another 8, but you can use any other like round brush, and you'll see why I'm using these as we go along. So let's get started. And let me just adjust everything that I need here, and we will begin. So to do let's do the one that looks like a skirt first, like one of those really nice poofy skirts. So for that, I'm using this brush, and the trick to this is you want to make sure that you have your saturated color, like so. Make sure your brush is damp, and when you're dipping your brush into your palette, I'm going to show you what it looks like. So I'm just going to make sure it's damp enough right now, and I have my paper towel on the side to take away any excess water. And then using the tallest tip on the brush, I'm going to just use that to get some color. And once I know I have enough, I'm going to dip the bottom of this brush, which is the shortest bristles on the brush, just ever so slightly in water. And if you get excess, just dab it on your paper towel. So the key to this, the reason I'm using a smaller page here is so that I can turn it around, and you'll see why. Hopefully this doesn't dash the camera as I'm doing it. Let me just make sure I'm gonna have enough space. Yes, I think so. All right, so what we do is literally, I'm just going to be creating petals like this. You see that? And now I'm going to turn it over. And then I'm going to do it again. And I like to give my brush a hint of some red, so I will try and get some red in there as well. Hopefully not too much. And if you feel like you're running out of water, just dip your brush in for more water. So I took a little bit extra water here so you can see. It's not coming out as, what's the word? Solid as these ones were, because it's a little bit extra water, which you can adjust. Too much red, as you can see, but I'm not worried because it can blend in and it'll be fine. So literally this whole method is using your brush to just go around. And now we do the outsides. So again, I'm making sure I have enough water so ever so slightly, I'm dipping the shortest portion of my brush in water, and then I'm going to go ahead and do this here. Hopefully it's dried enough. I want to do 3 layers, so I'm making sure that this one's slightly closer to the edge. Sorry, not the edge, the first layer. And I'm just going to continue doing that all around. And you want uneven strokes. So like for instance, in the middle, you can go a little bit higher, because you know how the carnation petals are. They're like gathered petals, if that makes any sense. For all the seamstresses out there who knows the word gathers on a skirt. So you have that full look. Yeah, my grandmother was a seamstress before her eyesight got bad, and so I would always, when she'd make me dresses, it was always like full gathered dress or skirt to go with the dress rather. Okay, enough ramblings. I'm just going to try and finish this so we can get on to the next one. But as you can see, it's literally you just turning the page and getting that effect. I'll do the third and final layer. And for this one, I can go a little bit higher. And I will. And again, you want to get the variation in color, then just make sure you get more color at the top, no color at the bottom. And if you wanted to make it extra loose, like leave the in-betweens, like leave some white space in between. You don't have to have, like see how I have in a white space between the strokes. And again, that you can achieve by just loosely making contact on paper with the brush. So mainly making contact at the top and not so much on the whole angle. Again, it might be best if you just like do some trial and error practicing. And then this way you get accustomed to this motion and also using the brush. Because honestly, guys, experience is the best teacher when it comes to things like this. I can show you a method, but unless you practice and you try it out yourself, you'll never really know what you can achieve and how easily it'll come to you. And who knows, you might do it even better than me. So never judge a book by its cover. I think that applies in this case. So I'm just going to throw in some red. Okay, I know our carnations are... Do we have carnations that are like orange and red? At least I've never seen it, but you know, just for the sake of this tutorial, I'm going to do my own carnation. I'm just going to do the center because, you know, it's nice and full all over. And it's getting a little more orange in there so it doesn't look too red. Because I did want that combination of red and orange. All right, so this is how you do a carnation with the angular brush or the Pincel. What did I call it? A Pincel brush? Yeah. So hope you guys like this one and will practice it. Let me know how it goes. On to the next version. This next version, as I mentioned, we're using Where's my brush? Yes, we're using the number 8 silver black velvet, and I'm just using another number 8 as well. This might be too thick given how small the sheet is, but let's just try it anyways. And here we go. So for this one, I'm just going to use my red, and a whole bunch of water. So I'm keeping this brush on standby for water. And this one I'm going to use because the tip is nice, and just get my red. So what I'm doing is, so now it's my brush is saturated with water, and just the tip I am going to get enough color on here so it looks kind of like this. I don't know if you can see the color, yeah. And then what I will do is I'm going to make little curvy lines, I guess you could say, or shapes, and it'll look something like this. All right, and then I'm going to take this brush, making sure that it's wet, and I'm just going to do this. Just touching the tip so it drags down. And then if I don't like the shape, I can adjust it a little bit. And then if I feel like there's too much water, you can just take your water towel, paper towel, water towel, and just slightly dab. And then I'm going to use the same brush up here and then do this. And again, I'm creating like organic shapes. And this is essentially how the carnation does look from the different layers that it has, right? So that's what I'm trying to do, and looks like I used this brush here, so I'm just going to make sure I have no more color. Sorry, wrong. This is the brush I need. Okay, it has enough red there already, so you need to make sure that there's no red, just so that when you go on there, it kind of goes dark to light, and you're not getting one solid pink. So we'll do the same with this area here. I'm going to do extra ones here. Sorry, need more red. And then I'll do some at the side. And then I'm just taking again to get that look. And then I'll do the same thing here. And I'm leaving some white space in between so it looks like a different layer. I'm going to wait for this area to dry and perhaps go in with a little more red because it looks a little too blended in. So I'm doing the same technique up here. Okay, did I use the wrong one? I did. Oh, I'm just going to introduce another brush that's clean so I don't have to waste the color, guys. Sorry. You can pretty much use any brush because you're just using it too much water on this. You're just using it to kind of bring the color down like this, right? So again, with this, time is key because if it dries, then you kind of lose that window of which you could have, you know, gotten this effect. So you can have some of them to be like super light. It doesn't have to be as dark consistently. So like this one, I'm just going to make it fairly light. And now I can go in here because I think it's fairly dry that you don't have to worry about it being like it blotching up and just color going all over the place. And then I'll just do a few little sections here and there, and this is just to give it a little extra 2D kind of effect. Hopefully I don't ruin it. And just do maybe one last one. And then using this brush that I have, I'm just going in and, oh, that's my laptop. Just bringing the color down. And again, leave white space so it looks like clouds almost. All right, so this is it. And then at the bottom, I'm going to get my green. So I'll use one of these brushes for the bottom. So let's use this one. I'll get my green. I like to use a nice dark green most of the time. So I'll go like this. Unfortunately, this flower is there, so you can't really get it properly, but yeah, you get the idea for how the greens should work. I'll do another one here just so you can see how one straight up would look like. And for that, again, you're just pretty much like, I would just create these little almost like an outline for the flower, right? Don't do the whole thing. Start off with the center and then use your brush to go in and create the shape and spread the color around. And leave white space. All right, and then go back in and then do the rest of the petals. And so this is another flower that can be a lot of fun to do because you don't necessarily need to look at a picture, and you have a lot of freedom when it comes to like how you want it to look or how you would like to paint it rather, because it has these organic shapes and it's so loose in nature. You could really just get carried away painting it rather. And I am almost done. And then this one, you can also do that, like put the faint color first and then go to the edges and create your dark outline. That could also work, except I like to have the color bleeding from it. So then I don't have to worry about the shade or how natural it looks. Sorry, I have a little bit of a raspy voice today. Okay, all right, so you get the gist of what I'm trying to do here, and how you can do this. So I'm not going to prolong this much longer, even though my hand is still moving. But yes, this is how you would do a carnation, essentially. And I would suggest just go ahead and play around. You can, because it almost looks like a cloudy effect. You could do so much with this. Make like a really nice dreamy portrait, not portrait, but like painting, and just have these all over. I think that would look really nice. So I hope you guys enjoyed this and you've had fun. I would love to see what you come up with, so please feel free to post images, whether it's on my Facebook page or yeah, send me a private message on Instagram as well, like if you're not a super public person that way. I am happy to get all your messages and all your comments. Thanks, guys, and I really hope you enjoyed this. Please let me know in the comments what you thought. Thank you. Bye.